Let's get to estate and business planning attorney Lily N. Kinshore on this story about the widow of the Cosby star Malcolm-Jamal Warner suing his mother for $1.2 million.
Y'all, 2 weeks ago, on the exact 1-year anniversary of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's passing in Costa Rica, his widow walked into a Georgia courthouse and sued his own mother for $1.2 million. That was July 21st, 2026. And this whole family war comes down to a document Malcolm signed in 1996 when he was 26 years old, single, and did not have a wife or a daughter yet. Because Malcolm-Jamal Warner, Theo Huxtable, the man who raised us on Thursday nights, was born August 18, 1970 in Jersey City, named after Malcolm X and the jazz pianist Ahmad Jamal, only child of Robert Warner Jr. and Pamela Warner, cast as Theo on The Cosby Show at 14 years old, 8 seasons. And from that day forward, his mama Pamela was not just his mama. She was his longtime talent manager.
Yes. Hi, Ashin. Thank you. I've been doing estate and business planning work for 20 years. And I'll tell you this, death and assets change family dynamics very quickly. And people don't believe me when I say that because they're like, no, we had a great time at the reunion.
She handled his money, his contracts, his career for over 4 decades. Hold on to that, because in 1996, when Malcolm was 26 years old, single, no kids, no wife on the horizon, he sat down with a financial advisor and set up something called the Warner Family Trust. In that trust, 70% of his estate goes to Pamela, 15% to his daddy Robert, 15% to a half-sister named Collage. That is 100% locked in. And in 1996, that made total sense. The whole world he had was his mama, his daddy, and his sister. Then, in 2015, Malcolm met a woman named Dr. Tenisha Warner, a psychologist not in the industry. They dated privately. They married privately in 2017. Their daughter MacKenzie was born the same year. And Malcolm kept his wife and his daughter almost completely off social media.
1 year after Malcolm-Jamal Warner's tragic death at 54, his widow, Tenisha Warner, is taking legal action in Georgia and California over his family trust and what she alleges are at least $1.3 million in unfulfilled financial obligations.
Most fans watching this video did not even know he was married. His career had actually been rebounding. He was on The Resident, on 911, and had a podcast called Not All Hood. He was reportedly earning around $680,000 a year. Come May 15, 2022, Malcolm and Tenisha signed a premarital agreement. Under that prenup, Malcolm made specific commitments: a $1 million life insurance policy naming Tenisha as sole beneficiary, $16,000 tax-free every wedding anniversary, a Roth IRA in her name, $5,000 a month as his chief of staff, and college funds for their children. Serious commitments. Signed into a real contract. Now the tragic part. July 20th, 2025, Malcolm flew out to Costa Rica because his 8-year-old daughter MacKenzie was in school there. Tenisha and MacKenzie had already been out there 3 weeks. On the day Malcolm arrived, he swam at a beach with no lifeguards on duty, got caught in a riptide, and he did not make it back to shore at 54 years old.
But there's something about the death and the assets that unearths really heavy feelings, resentment, anger, whatever may have been laid in the past. It just comes up when there's death and an asset on the table.
Per Pamela's own account to Robin Roberts on Good Morning America 2 months later, little MacKenzie was on the shore. She was there when they lost him. That is the part of this whole story that sticks. The 1996 trust never got updated, never amended. Same document Malcolm signed at 26 years old is the same document that decided everything when he passed at 54, which means 70% of what he built went to Pamela, 15% went to his late daddy, 15% to Collage, and 0% went to Tenisha or MacKenzie for the wife he had for 8 years. 0 for the little girl he had for 8 years. Here is Tenisha's own statement in her court filing. Malcolm had every intention to provide for their 9-year-old daughter and her. He was close to finalizing a new estate plan to replace what she called the stale plan from 1996, created when he was 26 years old, 20 years before they met and well before they had their beautiful daughter. Sadly, he was unable to do so before we lost him. 20 years before this man met the mother of his child, he wrote a trust that gives 70% of everything to his mama and nothing to his future wife. That is the plan currently deciding what a 9-year-old girl inherits from her father.
Court documents obtained by E! News July 21st show Tenisha filed a creditor's claim against Malcolm's estate. estate, and a related civil lawsuit against his mother, Pamela Warner, in her capacity as trustee, as well as a separate California petition involving the Warner Family Trust.
Tenisha had already flagged this issue in a November of 2025 petition. Tenisha didn't just sue Pamela. Same week, she filed a completely separate lawsuit against Malcolm's financial advisor for professional negligence. And per that filing, the updated estate plan was actually prepared. Documents were drawn up. Malcolm was actively working on it. A $2 million life insurance policy he wanted for his wife and daughter was pending. But the papers never got executed. The insurance never got finalized. Somebody dropped the whole ball, which means Tenisha's team is not just going after grandma. They are going after the professionals who were supposed to protect Malcolm's family and let them end up like this in the first place. Meanwhile, Tenisha had been quietly rebuilding her whole life. She publicly identified as Malcolm's widow for the first time in September of 2025, launched the Warner Family Foundation, and a storytelling kit for children navigating grief and loss called River and Ember.
A trust is a very tight, binding legal document. This is Malcolm's wishes. It's the ultimate to-do list. It's exactly what you want. It's going to the people you want, and it's naming the specific assets. It trumps everything else.
2 months after Malcolm passed, Pamela sat down with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America for her first TV interview. She cried. She talked about a grief she said felt indescribable. She said Tenisha and MacKenzie were both going through it too. That was on national television. But according to Tenisha's court filing, in the months that followed, Pamela, acting as successor trustee, sold the family home in Studio City, California, over Tenisha's objection. The court record says, quote, "This is the home where MacKenzie first lived and where she developed the very first core memories of her father." Then came the anniversary, July 20th, 2026. Pamela posted a tribute to her son on Instagram, that she had no regrets, that she wished for a little more time, one more chance to cook his favorite meals. One day later, Tenisha filed suit. Now Pamela has defenders, and this is fair to hear. Camp A says the trust structure was designed by Malcolm at 26, not by Pamela. A successor trustee cannot just rewrite the trust of someone who has passed. Once the grantor is gone, that document becomes irrevocable in most states. Pamela may not have the legal authority to cut her granddaughter in even if she wanted to. Her attorneys have declined public comment, but Camp B says selling a widow's childhood home over her objection is not neutral trust administration. And when Tenisha sat down with Gayle King on CBS Mornings, she told the world her emotional capacity has been limited, that whatever she has to give goes to her daughter first and herself second.
In the Georgia actions, Tenisha alleges Malcolm failed to fulfill several financial promises stipulated in their May 2022 premarital agreement, including his alleged promise to maintain a $1 million life insurance policy.
This is a widow saying she is out of gas. Her lawyer said the statute of limitations was running out, which is why the filing happened on the anniversary. And listen, this has happened before. Aaron Hall, Bernie Mac, Aretha Franklin, Black stars pass young without updated estate plans, and the paperwork never catches up. So tell me, sis, is Pamela Warner the villain the internet is calling her? A grandmother refusing to share the estate with the granddaughter her son left behind? Or is the real villain the financial advisor who reportedly prepared updated papers for Malcolm and let them sit unexecuted while a whole family formed around them? Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell me what you really think. Hit that like, subscribe if you new around here, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, baddies.